An iron hook catches the collar of a man's armor and drags him backward out of the saddle. He hits the ground face first. A lance comes down, scrapes across his breastplate, and skids away. Boots and hooves churn the dirt around his head, and he cannot stand, because the steel that just saved his life is now too heavy to rise in. That man is Philip II, King of France. And in this moment, the kingdom of France is lying in the mud with him. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to Bouvines, the 27th of July, 1214, the single afternoon that decided who would rule France, who would lose an empire, and, though no one on that field could have known it, who would be forced to sign away the absolute power of the English crown. Start with the strangest detail of the day. It is a Sunday. Church law forbids Christians from shedding blood on the Lord's Day, and every man out there knows it. They fight anyway. And one of them cannot even be blessed before he does, because Otto IV, Holy Roman Emperor, has been excommunicated by the Pope. He marches to war cut off from God. Facing him, Philip raises the oriflamme of Saint-Denis, the sacred banner unfurled only when the kingdom itself is believed to be dying. Against him stands Flanders, Boulogne, Brabant, Lorraine, Saxony, and English gold. And here is what makes it bitter. Most of those men once knelt before Philip and swore him loyalty. They came to break that oath. 2 kings, 1 field, and no second chances. Look at how Philip sets his line, because every piece of it tells you something. On the French right ride Eudes of Burgundy and William de Bar. Heavy knights held back. Mounted sergeants pushed forward, aimed straight at Renaud of Boulogne. In the center stands the king with his household knights, and in front of them, shielding him, more than 2,000 infantry from the towns of the Ile-de-France and Normandy. Understand who those men are. They are not nobles. They are weavers, bakers, and blacksmiths from free towns. And today, they are the only wall between a mounted empire and their king. Nobody expects them to hold. On the left, Robert of Dreux and William of Ponthieu take the town militias against Ferrand of Flanders. And behind all of it, 150 sergeants guard the bridge of Bouvines, the only way back across the marsh. Philip gives one order about that bridge. No one crosses until the battle is decided. This is not a bridge to escape by. It is a bridge that makes escape impossible. And here is what almost no one tells you. The man who arranged that line was not the king. It was Brother Guérin, a knight hospitaller and bishop-elect, forbidden by his vows to draw a sword. He was allowed only to think, and he outthought every count on that field, choosing open ground with the sun burning into coalition eyes. Facing him, Otto places Ferrand and Arnold of Oudenarde on his left, himself with Brabant, Lorraine, and Namur in the center. And on his right, Renaud, German pikes, locked in a defensive ring, and the English horse of William Longespee. Remember Renaud. He once knelt to Philip. He knows exactly what the king looks like, and he has come to find him. Above it all rises the imperial standard, a golden eagle riding a dragon. The coalition reached the field, rushed, disordered, out of breath. They did not care. They had the numbers. The French strike first. Outnumbered in knights and heavy horse, Philip's commanders know they cannot wait to be hit, so they hit first, before the coalition has finished catching its breath. The Flemish and German riders come out to meet them, and the collision is brutal. Men torn from their saddles, horses screaming, the whole thing dissolving into 1,000 separate duels in the dust. The French charge stalls, so the commanders feed in everything they have, wave after wave, one line pulling back while the next goes in, and slowly the Flemish ranks begin to thin. Notice what is actually deciding this. Courage is distributed evenly across a battlefield. Organization never is. Otto sees his left bending and makes his move. He signals the center forward because if he can break Philip before his flank collapses, none of it matters. Thousands of German, Brabantine, and Saxon infantry surge across the field, and ahead of them ride the heavy German knights, lances dropping toward 2,000 townsmen. Those weavers and bakers have never seen armored cavalry come at them at full gallop. The charge tears into them, splits the front ranks, drives them backward. And they give ground. But they do not run. Everything that happens for the rest of this day lives in the gap between those two things. Then the coalition infantry punches straight through to the king. Hooks catch Philip's armor and drag him off his horse. A lance comes down and skids across his breastplate, and the steel saves his life. And there he is, the King of France, face down in the churned dirt under the hooves, unable to rise because the armor keeping him alive is too heavy to stand up in. Galland de Montigny hauls the royal banner up and swings it again and again, screaming for help. A knight brings a fresh horse, but the men who reach him first, who pull him out of that mud, are not household knights. They are the townsmen nobody believed in. And still the coalition presses forward. Understand this clearly. At this hour, Otto is winning the Battle of Bouvines, and he is about to make the decision that costs him everything. On the coalition left, the Flemings have been fighting for hours. Their wounded pile up, their lines shrink, and then two French knights close on Ferrand of Flanders and take him alive. That single capture ends the fight on that wing. Because men in a medieval line are not holding for a cause, they are holding for the man beside them and the banner above them. And when Ferrand goes down, nobody is standing beside anybody anymore. Now watch Otto, because this is the moment the battle turns, and it turns on him. He commits everything he has left to the center. Look at what that decision ignores. His left has already collapsed, and he does not adjust for it. His right, under Renaud, has not yet thrown a single punch, and he never calls for it. And his center is now driven so deep that he has no reserve behind him, both flanks open, his rear naked. Empires do not fall in the moment they are beaten. They fall in the moment they bet everything. Robert of Dreux sees it first. He does not wait for a royal order. He swings his cavalry inward and drives it straight into that exposed German flank, and panic runs through Otto's ranks like fire through dry grass. The Black Eagle begins to drift backward. His personal guard is cut down around him. A blow lands on his horse. The animal rears. Otto is almost thrown from the saddle. His attendants close in, shouting at him to go, and finally the emperor turns his horse and runs. A handful of German knights stay behind and die where they stand, so he can get clear. Every one of them killed or taken. The imperial standard, the golden eagle riding its dragon, is captured and carried to the King of France. Otto will never take that throne back. He rode onto this field an emperor. He will arrive home a duke. Over on the other wing, William Longespee, Earl of Salisbury and half-brother to the King of England, is knocked out of his saddle and taken prisoner. And here is the part that almost never gets told. The man who put him down was Philip of Dreux, Bishop of Beauvais. Church law forbade a clergyman from shedding blood, so the bishop rode into battle carrying a club. The most famous Englishman on that field was unhorsed by a man who technically was not allowed to hurt anyone. That leaves Renaud de Damartin, the oathbreaker, alone in a sea of Frenchmen. He locks his German pikemen into a schiltron, a ring of spears bristling outward that no cavalry can crack. And again he rides out from inside it, strikes, and falls back behind the spears. His Brabantines fight to the last man and are crushed where they stand. Understand what that means. The traitor held out longer than the emperor he served. By late afternoon, the field belongs to France. Ferrand taken, Renaud taken, Otto gone, and stripped of imperial power. Thousands dead or in chains, and French losses far lighter, though never light. Paris celebrated for 7 days and 7 nights, students dancing in the streets, ordinary people cheering as if the victory belonged to them, because for the first time it did. Many historians call this the day France began to feel like France. Ferrand was paraded through Paris in iron, mocked by a crowd that noticed his name sounded like the word for iron. Renaud was chained to a log twice his own weight and left there for 13 years, until he died. And the biggest loser at Bouvines was not even on the field. King John of England had staked his money, his allies, and his credibility on Otto, and all of it burned in one afternoon. 10 months later, his barons, knowing he had nothing left, forced him to seal a document at Runnymede. Magna Carta. A wheat field in Flanders gave the English-speaking world the foundation of its law, and Philip stood among his exhausted men with the oriflamme still flying above them. No blood was supposed to be spilled that Sunday. Instead, it decided who wore a crown in France, who lost one in Germany, and who would be forced to share one in England. So tell me in the comments, was Bouvines won by Philip's courage or lost by Otto's arrogance? And if you want the other half of this story, watch what happened at Runnymede next.